What's up, Bomb Blog? Today we're going to do a little bit of run through on changing tactics in World of Tanks. Now, I'm someone who only plays World of Tanks probably 1 to 5 times a week, so pretty much a player that's not going to know all the angles of the tanks, all the weak points, all of that. So, more of your typical player. But even I watch some of the videos, whether it's like Quickie Baby or somebody like that, to figure out some different tactics and ways to get your win rate up a little bit. Now, more often than not, I jump into a game just kind of off and you have a loss. But occasionally you get in, you play 3, 4 games, and you kind of get on a streak. All of these replays I'm going to show you are my replays from kind of in the December patch. Um, when I started looking at tank destroyers. So, one of those things, and we'll get this fired up here, is tank destroyers typically just sit at the back of the map and fire. But is that the best way to play them? Can you really influence the game? And the answer is not always. It really depends on the map. We're going to start off with this first battle of mine, and part of it's going to be to show the first part of the battle. I kind of sit back, and then I get into a more active role and do something about the game. So let's watch this, and we'll kind of do a play-by-play through it and kind of see what's here. Now, funny enough, this whole first line of tanks, um, another one just like me, and a T95. The T95, of course, has a lot more armor, kind of I call it a assault tank almost. I don't have that kind of frontal hull, and I typically try to hide the lower part of my tank. The upper part of this tank generally can do okay. So, let's see how we do. And typically, I've gotten with this tank that I don't like going up the hill, partly because this is it's a fairly slow tank and reloads very slow. So a lot of times I need a place for cover or back up once I've fired a shot, just because my reload is really, really long. And you'll see me fire more premium shots or not switch ammo as often, partly because if I went to switch ammo, it could take a really long time to switch it, and I'd be sitting there without a gun. So, we can kind of see I kind of mounted up on this corner with rubble kind of hiding my lower plate, trying to figure out what I could do. But I am still, as far as the battle concerned, somewhat back. You can see the tanks to the left of me starting to push through the middle of the open. Somebody from the opposite team's over near the actual flag. And I'm just kind of sitting back here. I don't want to mess with that T95, that T110E4. I have a funny feeling if I came around this corner and started making a push, I would all of a sudden just burst into flames and die. So, this kind of begins what a normal tank destroyer feels like. You're just sitting back, everybody pushing forward, and it's not much fun. And I start thinking about it. So, I'm backing up. I'm like, okay, can I get a different angle on those guys, maybe from one of the little alcoves, to see if I can get a shot on them? So I pull over here to this first little alcove. I start looking over there. Okay, there's no spots in the rubble. And then I see that guy. I was going to try to aim at his lower plate. He happens to turn right as I'm trying to shoot him. So it puts enough angle on it that it bounces. And of course, as you can see, here's my reload time. That big old lumbering tank has completely enough time to back completely back into cover before I can even get a second shot in. Which makes it really hard to do snapshots in this tank because you just don't have the reload ability to do much. So I'm looking back and forth. Ooh, and I see a little thing through the other alcove that if he comes back forward, I may be able to get a shot on him. So I'm looking for it right in the back. Nice shot. Put a ton of damage on him that the E100 probably can kill him. And notice, yeah, I've got a shot on him. Can't do anything because this tank reloads so slow. Turn my attention back to tank on the other side. I realize there's tanks up on the ridge. I'm looking at that going, are they going to shoot me if I come out of this alcove? So I'm trying to figure out how to get more into the battle without getting shot from the cliff behind me. I see that medium going that way, which draws my attention off to this side, and I realize we are getting flanked all the way around behind us. And there's a medium over there that's probably about to be obliterated. Now, honestly, not the greatest idea to charge at 3 tanks, but I also figure if I go, you may actually draw some other people to come help. So I pick the one with the less health first, knock him out, and start backing up. I'm like, maybe I can jump back in this alcove behind me and figure out kind of hold while try to keep that Centurion from hitting me while I'm reloading. And then as soon as I reload, I start coming forward again. And then I look at the map and realize that there's another T110E3 coming. So I'm going to go put some damage in. Because he's probably going to come help me eliminate this whole group of people. Backing up while I reload. Use him for a little cover. And then I'm thinking, oh, we've got to make a push. We got to handle some of this because our cap's getting taken. It is a longer capture, but now the guy in front of me's got the same problem. So I sneak a shot in there, go ahead and end that. I didn't feel as bad because I had already been putting shots in them. But both of us are going to have really long reloads, so we're going to be playing tag of which one of us can actually shoot. Now I come around this corner and I'm like, okay. I know the IS-7 probably doesn't want to poke around because he has almost no health. I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, there's at least one artillery over there. And I see the heavy over there. And I'm trying to figure out, is that heavy going to have a shot at me if I try to cross through there? And I don't know. So then I'm thankful that our IS-7 went the long way around and managed to get a shot on. So I'm here going, okay, there's a heavy there. So I need to engage him. And we need to do it as a group. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, where's he going? Is he going to come down this aisleway? And that would be a no. So he's heading a long way around. So I started heading that way. The other T110E3 is out in front of me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back him up. Because between the two of us, we might actually have enough reload to do some damage. And you can kind of see that same thing. When he gets a shot in, and now that guy has lost the better part of all of his health in 2 shots. And I kind of look at this. I've been somewhat of an aggressive tank. Now here's another aggressive play. I realize those 2 tanks are going to go up the alley and they could just kind of find a sneaky place to hide away. And I'm like, I used this alley a minute ago coming the other way. What if I go back through the alley? And he's locked in a battle, probably reloading. So I go ahead and end him. So there's one tank somewhere. It's an artillery. I'm a slow tank. There's another one of me that's a slow tank. And I think both of us end up with the same idea. Because both of us go charging towards the cap. And it's like if he comes anywhere near the cap, one of us is going to hit him. Of course, my inclination is always like find a spot in the cap that I'm at least defensible from one side. So I pull up behind this wrecked one. He's got a little more open shot, and I'm thinking he thinks they're going to come from that end, which is probably a fair assumption. And we're just going to wait. With 2 of us, time's cut in half. The IS-7 is going up around the top, which is actually a smart move because that means he can clear that whole backside while we're flushing him this way. And the waiting game begins. And he appears. Boom. And that's the game. Thanks for watching. And on the next one, I'll show one that I went even a little bit more aggressive on.